Ocala.
25 minutes before 10 o'clock. It's there's a little lull in the rain right now, but there's another patch of rain to the west coming eastward, so we'll probably be getting more rain soon. Right now, it's nice out there, and we're about ready to talk about real estate, buying a home, selling a home. Bob Kennedy is here from Berkshire Hathaway Home Team Realty. He'll be answering our questions, your questions as well. The number is 622-9622 if you'd like to ask Bob a question. And we're on the air right now, live on January 22nd. Good morning, Bob. How are you?
Excellent. Good morning.
Came in when it was raining. Now it's nice and calm.
Yeah, I'm almost dried.
Do you know all the stuff about the weather up north, all the snow? They keep saying that if it's big enough, they're going to get, what do they call it, cabin fever?
Yes.
Doesn't that sound nice, though? I would love to be stuck in I don't know. It seems like a nice thing. Okay, I can't go anywhere. I'm stuck with my fireplace. I got a nice house.
I mean, when I'm from New Jersey, so the best time for a winter storm was always on Friday, because then you didn't have to go anywhere over the weekend.
Right.
And by Monday, no matter what, the roads would be cleared and you can kind of get out. But if it happens on Monday, then you're kind of really chasing commuting and everything.
But I guess if you're going to have cabin fever, it's good to have a good cabin.
That's true. That's a really good point.
Stocked with food.
Lots of food, yes, and electricity that works, I guess.
Yeah, that's like their version of a hurricane party, I guess. You get some people over and just kind of hang out. The NFL will love it. It'll send, what else are you going to do on Sunday?
There you go.
Watch football.
Yeah, right. Well, not that anybody doesn't do that already.
Exactly. Yeah, true.
Yeah. So thank you for coming in. One of the things that probably everybody who's thinking about buying a house always asks themselves is what they have. Like, how do they know what they can afford if they're renting right now?
Yes.
For example, $600 or $700 a month. I don't know if that's considered low or high, but
probably low in today's world.
That's low. So so you're doing pretty good if you're renting with that much, but you could buy a house with that much too.
The rates are still really low. I mean, I haven't seen much. I haven't seen many loans come through over 4%, which is still really low. Are people typically surprised when they find out what they can afford? I would hope so, because we saw a closing statement come through, and the people were getting a $250,000 mortgage, and with principal, interest, taxes, insurance, their payment was like $1,600. Okay, which is that's for a $250,000 mortgage. I don't know what they put down on the house. Right. But that's pretty. I mean, Okay, and I would guess that before they did that, they were probably spending at least that on wherever they were living before. Well, it depends. Sometimes I mean, owning a home, rents have gotten so high. Mm-hmm. That it's back. The pendulum swung back. In a lot of places, it's cheaper to own a home than to rent right now. Mm-hmm. That kind of goes back and forth. But because there's, like we have property management, we have no vacancies. We need more units to handle, because we're always getting people that are looking, people that don't want to buy, aren't in a position to buy for whatever reason. So when you are, with the rates being low, it's really, if you can afford a house and you're going to be in an area for a period of time, it really makes sense to buy. So if you were trying to figure out what you can afford, what do we need to know other than what we can currently afford? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, absolutely. That's probably the first step to owning a home, is finding out what do you qualify for. So you need to talk to a lender. You should talk to a real estate agent that will kind of put you in touch with somebody that they do business with. Sometimes people want to do it online and all kinds of stuff, but you want to find out what can you afford. There's no sense going out there for looking at something for $300,000 if you can afford $150,000.
Right.
It's not going to
exactly.
happen. So
That's
understand
good,
what you
yeah.
can buy, and then that's the first step.
That's what my son TJ and Charity did, his wife. They went out and they figured out how much money they had. They went to one of those people that you're talking about up in New Jersey, and they found the price range that they could qualify for, and that's where they looked for a house, and they bought one.
Absolutely, because you're going to have to supply an approval letter from whoever you're getting a mortgage from when you submit your contract. Sometimes we'll get people, they'll call up and we'll say, well, what are you qualified for? They go, well, I'm going to find a house first and then I'll get qualified. And it's like, we can't really help you because we have to know what you can afford before we go ahead, and there's no sense looking at stuff that won't fit your needs.
Exactly.
I wonder if typically the couple is looking for a house and the woman falls in love with the house and that's it. There's no going back. The one thing I think people don't want to do is settle. They don't want to say, well, this isn't exactly what I want, but I'll settle. I bet you that's not always easy to do, right?
It's not. I mean, this is all part of the planning that goes into it. You put together a wish list of what you want. What are the features that you want? Where do you want to be? All those things, and then you kind of work it backwards from there. Because even when you get a house built, you usually don't get everything that you want in it.
Well, that's true too. Yeah.
So is a pool really important? Do you have to have a pool? Do you have to have a fourth bedroom? Do you have to have a second floor? All kinds of things.
Can you use that as leverage? Like, can you say, for example, I like your house, but I really would rather it didn't have a pool. Let's say it has a pool. You would rather the house is perfect, except I don't like that pool. Can you take the pool out? Of course, that's an expense. So they'll say, well, no, but we could does anybody ever lower the price because there is something? Does that make sense?
Well, in the overall negotiation,
really,
you can put in there. The funny thing is, we always kind of mention a pool, but the pools in the appraisal process have so little value.
Oh, really?
That it's crazy. FHA loans, I think they give them zero value. So, but yeah, I mean, look, the house. If you're doing it right, you're looking at the comps that are sold in the area, so you have a pretty good idea of the value of that house. And if a guy, you kind of work it from there. I mean, if a guy's $40,000 over the market in his list, why would you even make an offer? You're negotiating against yourself.
So how did you find your house? What's your story of the house you're in, if I can get personal a little bit?
We were we did the downsizing thing. We had a couple acres out in the northeast part of the county in Silver Meadows. Loved it out there. Our kids grew up out there, and my wife teaches at Forest, so we want to get more into town. We didn't need 2 acres anymore. We didn't need a real big house, but my wife still wanted 4 bedrooms, so we started looking around. And we found something that was like 2 miles from where she works, and
wow, how nice!
It worked. It was just right for us.
So in your case, it was the location.
Yeah, that had a lot to do with it. Really, the 4th bedroom was really important. Our kids will never come back, but I have one that lives in town. But we got a bedroom if they do.
There was a video posted on YouTube maybe earlier this week, and it shows a lady, and she shows how to get a homestead with your income tax return. And she says this is what she did. And basically what she did is she got land that was, what do you call it when it's categorized agricultural? What do you call it? Zoned?
Yeah.
Zoned. It was zoned agriculture, residential / agricultural. And she took her $1,500 return, whatever, went to a for sale by owner, and was able to work some kind of a deal and get government help and all that. Have you heard of this?
No.
It sounds like she wanted to raise chickens, so maybe.
Well, what happens is she got it. It sounds like she got a house on property that if you get an ag exemption, it's going to lower your taxes a great deal. If you raise it, if you have
to actually have animals, though, right?
Well, animals, or you might be, trees. You may be planting something. Yeah. Sometimes guys sometimes guys have large tracts of land, and they're not ready to develop it, and they'll plant, like trees on it, so they get an ag exemption. And
That's a good
taxes.
crop.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't know too much about that world, but there's money in it.
That's a good crop. All right, we'll take a little break. If you have a question for Bob Kennedy, this is a good time to call. We're up against the break, so we'll take that break right now and be right back. The phone number, if you want to call, is 622-9622. We'll be right back.
At Ameris Bank, we understand that there is no purchase more exciting than the purchase of a new home. We are dedicated to helping you find the mortgage that meets your needs and giving you the personal attention you deserve. Our mortgage options offer a variety of benefits, including up to 100% financing, down payment assistance, and expansive credit qualifications, all with the competitive rates and exceptional service. Call Ameris Bank today or visit amerisbank.com to learn more. We look forward to serving you.
Ameris Bank is an equal housing lender and member of FDIC, a loan subject to credit approval.
Are you in need of custom screen printing, embroidery, or promotional items? Then look no further and come visit the brand new Legacy Team Sales. LTS is conveniently located off 17th Street next to Armstrong Homes in beautiful Ocala. We offer the best prices and highest quality products for your company, team, school, or nonprofit. Whether looking for screen printed shirts, embroidered polos, or travel team uniforms, you'll be sure to find it at Legacy Team Sales. Come visit our new 27,000 square foot facility. Our friendly and knowledgeable sales staff will assist you in every part of your custom purchase. LTS carries the hottest brands in the industry like Under Armour, Russell, Mizuno, Asics, Badger Sports, Gildan, Pacific, Ogio, and many more. At LTS, screen printing embroidery is done in-house and we guarantee customer satisfaction. Stop by, give us a call, or check us out on the web at shoplts.com. Remember the name, LTS.
Central Florida Eye Institute is the area's leader in laser vision correction. From high-definition refraction surgery and LASIK vision correction to custom cataract, glaucoma, and diabetic treatment, you can count on Dr. Crowley and his effective, friendly staff to provide you with the quality care you deserve. Call 352-237-8400 for an appointment or more information. That number again is 352-237-8400. Looking forward to service your vision needs.
We're saving thousands with Robert Palmer.
So rule number one is always shop around. Always shop around. If you're trying to get a mortgage, if you're trying to get the best credit card, if you're looking at student loans, cell phone bills, you name it, rule number one is always shop around. Always shop around.
That's rule number one, just one more vital part of fighting back to stop being a financial zombie. Yes, you can take the mystery out of the complicated world of finances. Take charge when it comes to your money. Listen in on The Source, 96.3 FM and 1370 AM, Saturdays at 12:05.
Located in Ocala, RenStar Medical Research has offered a wide range of clinical research trials for 17 years. RenStar conducts clinical trials for conditions such as migraines, memory decline, fibromyalgia, and sun-damaged skin. To learn more, call RenStar at 352-629-5800. Help us create a healthier tomorrow by volunteering today. Please call RenStar at 352-629-5800.
All right, 12 minutes before 10 o'clock. In the break, we were talking about baseball. How about that?
Not a bad subject.
Not a bad subject.
Ever.
Okay, so one of the things that we were talking about is getting the stuff ready.
Sure.
If you're going to buy or sell, is it the same thing true if you're selling to get your W-2s and your pay stubs and all that?
You only have to, if you're going to buy another house, yes.
Oh well then you have to live somewhere.
Sure, yeah. I mean, most people when they're selling, they're buying, but it doesn't change. You have to have all your ducks in a row. You have to have, your bank statements, your income tax returns, your W-2s. They're going to pull credit, whoever the lender is. And
but I would think you would be the first and the last person to deal with. In other words, the very first thing I would do is sit with you and say, I want to buy a house. Take me by the hand. What do I need to do?
It's funny.
It's like going to the Wizard of Oz, and then you give me some instructions, and I'll come back.
Yeah, there you go. See, you'd be a great customer because you would follow the instructions. But years.
He's laughing because he's thinking maybe he wouldn't.
Yeah. Years ago, before there was things like online lending and online all the issues. If you went into a real estate company, like when we bought our first house about 1,000 years ago in the 80s, you go in, you sit down with the real estate agent. They asked you how much you made, how much your debt was, and then they would tell you what you could afford, and then they'd say, okay, we'll go see these houses. Now, very few. I don't know anybody in our business that really worries about getting people qualified. They're going to go to a lender. Once they know what they can buy, then you can start the house. Then you start the process. But the more information the lender has, you know, you want to know. I mean, if you may make $100,000 a year, but if you only have like $50 left at the end of the month because of all your expenses, you know, you're not going to be in great shape, because you have to have debt to equity ratio is one of the big things lenders look at.
If you are paying rent and then you find a house that you can afford the mortgage on and it is equal to your rent, the one thing that could be an issue, I would think, is if the faucet broke, because in the previous place you could call the landlord. Now it's you're the landlord.
True. And
so is there any warranty when you buy a house?
You can have, there's a couple things you can do. New construction will have warranties, obviously, on the manufacturers and also on the labor. You can buy, either have the seller pay for it or you pay for it yourself. You can buy a homeowner's warranty that'll help cover a lot of things that could go wrong with the house. But when you're looking at the cost of owning a home, there is going to be additional costs, because, you know, there's wear and tear. You know, you're going to want to paint, do flooring over time, those kinds of things.
When a person goes to purchase their home, sometimes when children are of college age and they stay home, some parents will charge them rent. And I never did, but I know there are some parents that do that. Does that affect the amount of mortgage that a person can get if they say they're going to have this income from their child?
No. They may get a standing ovation from the lender that they're getting money from their kids, but no, that won't enter into it.
Oh, okay.
No, if you have a two family, like a quadruplex or something like that, those leases will enter into your ability to buy, but not something in your own home.
Okay.
The cheat sheet you gave me before we started the show, so we can have some talking points, mentions the features that we would look for. That was my most fun part of this list.
Yeah.
Because that's what I mean, one of the things you suggest is, you know, a fireplace, a pool. And school district. And I mentioned to you before we went on the air, that was the most important thing when I was looking for a house when my son was younger. I wanted to be, my dream was to walk him to school and walk to school to pick him up with the dog, which I always did.
You always did.
Yeah, it was a beautiful few years.
That's awesome.
It went too fast.
Yeah, it does, and that's really nice, because, you know, it's not that easy to be within walking distance of schools around here. So,
well, I remember I went to an agent. The first thing I did, I didn't know what to do. I went to a real estate agent and I said, "This is the only thing I'm looking for: a nice house near the school." She showed me two. One, I thought, this isn't near the school.
Right.
When I say near, I don't mean in a car. I mean, I want to be able to walk. Yeah. So the other one fit the bill. It was wonderful.
Yeah. That's great. That's it sounds like a commercial.
When
home ownership.
When Marion Oaks was developing, they had some houses like on Northwest 42nd, I think is the name of that road. And then they were there for about 12 years, the houses, and then they built that big school down there behind the houses. And as soon as they built the school and the school opened, all of those homes had for sale signs because they were like right up against the school fence. Did that make the property value decrease then when they sold their home?
I don't see why it would. Maybe those people probably bought with the idea that there wasn't going to be anything around them, and then when a school comes in, you know, a lot of people like you know, you want to be close to the school.
Right.
I don't think it ever hurts. You know,
the value.
It's a school. I mean, you know, you got a bunch of little kids running around. They're not like shooting bazookas at you.
Let's see. You mentioned to hire an agent, which is, to me, it's like the first thing I do with anything. I always go to an expert, whether it's fixing my car or health-related things. And buying a house is no different.
Well, I think it's, I might be a little prejudiced because that's what I do, but, if you're buying a house and you have an agent representing you, it's one of the few things in life that you're going to not pay for, because the fees for the sale come from the seller.
It all comes from
so as a buyer, you're getting expertise, and there's like no charge.
Oh yeah, and when we were selling my mom's house, did I know you back in those days? I can't remember.
I don't think so.
And we had to use a lady who was over in Citrus County, and I couldn't have done it without that help. I don't even know how to dot the I's in those cases. I don't even know.
Yeah, it's a benefit. Done right, it's a great benefit.
If that happens to someone where the parent passes and then you are the executor and you need to sell the home, does that person bring the will with them to you, and then you can look at all the particulars about selling the house?
We'll give them the general information. I don't want to act like an attorney or anything, but there's certain things that have to happen. Has the house been probated? That's the biggest thing, because what we're concerned about is, can title transfer.
Okay.
If we need, we'll get a title company to give us their opinion, and then if there's legal issues, then we'll just refer them to an attorney.
Well, that would be wonderful. That way, if a person wants to buy a house or sell, they can come to you, and you're like the one-stop shop. You can help them find a home. You can tell them where to go to get qualified, have the property appraised. That's wonderful what you do. You take all the anxiety out of buying or selling a home.
We try to.
So when we had in the studio the folks from Habitat for Humanity, they have certain requirements. They don't give homes away. You have to get a mortgage just like any other house. And sometimes people don't qualify. And they basically give them instructions on what to do, and it sometimes takes a year to get everything in order.
Yeah.
So typically, I think if you were going to write a book about the subject, and the book was titled "What to Do Before and in Preparation for Buying a Home," that's the title of the book. How far in advance do you start doing those things? A year?
Well, no, you don't need a year.
Not a whole year?
But I mean, you need to sit down and just kind of make sure that you have everything together. If you have a credit issue, or you have, maybe you have a bunch of debt on something, it may take a while to get that straightened out. But if you're ready to go, I mean, the whole process will take about, once you start the process, look at a house, find a house, 45 to 60 days.
Oh, okay. Let's take a phone call. Thank you for calling in. You're on the air with Bob Kennedy.
Hi, Bob.
Good morning.
What I was wondering about is whether you should get a deed with a sale or an abstract of title. Can you tell me anything about that? Which is preferable?
Well, we just deal with abstract of title is a type of title that you get, but every ownership has deeds. When you own something, you have a deed. There's a couple different types of deeds: bargain and sale, CVG, life estate, all those things. But you're going to get a deed, and it's going to have a title with it. And we are a title state, so that's what you'll have.
Okay, I think I've just got an abstract of title with this house that I bought.
Well, there's a deed somewhere. If not, call an attorney.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
I never even heard that term before.
No.
That's the kind of stuff that scares me, because things like that I wouldn't even know. What to do.
That's some people want to make sure they'll take reasonable care, and they want to have an attorney handle that, and that's great. But in Florida, because most of the transactions are done through title companies, and they're the de facto legal. They're making sure that everything, that if you're getting a transfer of title, that there's no liens against it, there's no encumbrances, nobody can knock on your door after the closing, say, hey, I put a roof on and never got paid, I want you to pay me, things like that. That's all taken care of.
We're out of time. I just sent you a friend request on Facebook.
Great.
Because I took your picture, I wanted to tag you, and I didn't realize we weren't already friends. Now we will be.
Absolutely.
If you accept my invitation.
Absolutely.
You're not friends unless you're friends on Facebook.
What is your phone number?
622-9700.
All right, go to Berkshire Hathaway Home Team Realty, ask for Bob Kennedy, and get that house with the fireplace.
10-foot ceilings.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. I love mine.
And a what do you call it? Not the balcony. What do you call that thing?
Lanai?
Lanai. I don't even know what that is, but it sounds good.
Oh, yeah, that's what you look at. A loft.
A loft, yes,
loft.
thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, we'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.